All right, next, let's take a look at the three concepts: the database, repeating groups, and page input. What I'm trying to create here is something like this, just a blog, and as soon as you click on it, you go to that page sends some information, and then you can go back to the main page, right? And in Bubble, you can see how simple this is. Like you have, first you have a page, and the page takes a type, and then you can use that type fields in the, throughout it, right? And how do you get the type? Yeah, you go in the database, you create a new thing here, the fields are in there, and then from the hosting page, you have just a repeating group, which searches all those items, and puts them in here, and as soon as you click on them, it just sends you to that page and sends you that data, right? Simple or kind of usual things that you're going to be doing in Bubble. How do we do that in Noodle, right? So we had here this our page, and here on the blog page, I've just added a couple of dummy entries here for our blog post. So the first thing we need to do is to create a database. Noodle, because of its flexibility, doesn't have a database attached to it, but offers one that can be quite well integrated. So we're going to create one here. We have an error, right? And here, if you go on top here, you see the editor tools. You can see the errors. I mean, this is just an Electron app, so you can see all the errors in there, and you can see as soon as I click on it, you see some errors, and you can kind of read, okay, it needs to be at least 3 characters, right? So this is something that they're probably going to improve on this, but for now we can just create a database here, and so you also know where to find some troubleshooting issues with the editor itself, right? All right, so now we have a database. We can open a dashboard, and this is the parse dashboard, and we're going to create a new class. So new class would be the equivalent here in Bubble to a data type. Okay, so now new class, let's call it post. Create a column. The first one's going to be the title, and then the body, right? And now we can dive in there. So we're in here, and we can add some rows, and you have kind of all of the stuff here. It's like the kind of the, just like Bubble gives you a bunch of standard fields built in. Noodle also has the same. You can organize this a bit. Maybe you are seeing these things more for the title and the body, and then so you have them here, right? So let's just create a few here. Load them. Words, let's call this 3 words, paste them in there, right? So this is, and we're gonna load them, paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, click in there again, voila, so we added one, we add another one here, load them, let's put this one 4 words, voila, load up, paragraph, 5 of them, excited there. Well, so now we have 2 entries in our database. We're not worrying about any of the security and privacy and everything. So we can just see this in here, right? So we have the database. And now, how can we access this, right? You have, here you have these items here, records. So these are related to the database. So you can, refer to one record, add one, set some properties, find them, filter, and so on. And now let's say that we want to pull up all this record, right? We want to query. Normally what we can do here is just, go here in the class. But we see, like, we just created a class, but it's not in there yet. And that's another thing we have to tell Noodle, say, okay, use this database here in this editor. And the moment we do that, we're going to see our post here. Right? So now you can see, as soon as you put your mouse on it, you can see that it's pulling up the information. And this is this is all JSON. So you see it's an array with an object inside of it, one title and body. And this is a very nice thing here that it's you have this inspector right on there. You see what data is in there. Okay. So we have this data, we're on the page here blog. How do we even show any of this? So what we're going to do is to create a repeating group, right? So how do we do a repeating group here? Well, we need to pass this array to something here. And that something is called a repeater, right? So we can put this repeater in here somewhere. And we can now pass these items to the repeater. But the repeater takes in also a template. To display anything, it needs a template, right? So how do we do that? Well, we can just go in here, this little thing that I put together here. We can right-click on it, extract a component. If we go to here, we can see our extracted component there. Let's just call it, rename it, blog list. And in here, it touched to another very, very nice thing of Noodles in terms of organization. You have folders, and then these folders can have things, or even a visual element can have things inside of it. You can have folders inside of it. Well, maybe not folders, but you can have move pages inside of it. It's quite flexible, and you can do quite a lot in terms of organization. And that's not even talking about sheets, but in here you see, okay, there is a repeating group repeating group template that we call blogs list, and is associated to the blog. So yeah, they should be together, right? So now we are inside of the repeating group, right? What we need here is to get the object, to display some information in here. How do we do that? As soon as you put an object here, so we don't need a record, we need an object, because the repeating group is taking a bunch of items. So these items are now seen as the bubble editor as an object, right? And we can go in here and say, look, get the ID, like, everything has an ID, and we say, get it from the repeater. And as soon as we reload this, we should be able to, just navigate a bit, blog, I know what it is. We have to go to the blog, like we haven't, we have created this new visual component, but we haven't connected to it. Now that we connect to it, we can jump in there. If you just double click, it goes to the visual component. And this thing here now, the object, you can see that it has the information in it, right? And normally in Bubble, you say, this pages thing, and you can just point it to there, right? But right now, if I try to connect this one to that, you have none of these options here. And this is one of the challenges and one of the flexibilities of Noodle, is that you have to do this yourself. So we can hover above this, we can see, okay, title, body, right? And I can just go here, properties. I want to extract the properties, so you have to remember this. What was it, title, right? And as soon as I put the title, I can connect it here, and I'll see the title shows up here, and I put a text, and you can see the items there, right? So let me go, if I click Alt-T, I switch to the design system, I can go back to this item here, and I can now remove this part, and I just have that in there. Let's say I want to, the repeating group in Bumble, you can add a bit more space between them. What I can do here is just add this, a group, format the group as I see fit. Let's say that I want a crazy vertical gap of 32. And as soon as I put this one inside of it, you're going to have that in here, right? So you can style the group, and that group serves as in many ways in the just like we have here the repeating group. You have all the styling elements here in the repeating group. This would be fall under here, right? Now, how do we go from here to the blog page, right? First, we need the a new page. So we're going to call the page the post, so the blog post. And now we have this thing here. So we have a few things that we're going to do. So let's just put a group in the middle, and then inside of it a text for the title, and then another one for the body. Right, and this title here, let's just give it a title large, and let's make it a big body large, something like that, right? But now we need to attach to show some information here. So how do we show this information? We can either do a search for the record, or we're going to pass this object over, and we're going to do again the title. And let me show you a little tip here. If you know the fields that you want to pull out, you can just comma separate them, title, and then description, or what was it, body. Right? And if you comma separate them, it's going to add them, the two of them. Just be careful, don't do the Rico and add put a space in there, because it doesn't trim automatically, right? So what we're going to do here is put this title, put it in there, and then fetch this body and connect it to this, right? But we still don't have an object here. There's still nothing there, right? We need to go back to our blog list, and we have to have an action here, right? So what happens when you click the group? Well, we want to navigate, and we want to navigate to posts, right? Whenever I click on that. So click, navigate. Now, if I go back to, there's an error here. One second, it's giving an error for no good reason. So now, if I go in here, it clicks and it goes to a page, but it still has no information in there, right? Now, how do we do that? Let's go to the post. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and move this page inside of it, so I know that these two kind of belong together. And here is where I can add parameters, right? So let's go with a path parameter. So this would mean that it will be post / something. It's going to be the item that goes in there. So we're going to say, oh, give me this ID, feed it to this object here, and this object is going to, and then it's going to be able to get that, right? So now we need to go in here and say, okay, we need to feed this ID. How do we do that? Well, we just pull this object from here to there. And now, whenever I refresh here, and it fetches my database again, the moment I click on it, you see the, this thing here is already populated. So this path is already populated, but we haven't triggered the signal. So the blue are the signals. As soon as you click on it, it's going to go to the page and load that information and have it all in there. Right? And we can inspect this here. We can see the information in there. And then we can start styling our page as we see fit. This is 16, 16, 32. Well, anyway, start having some sort of a page. Okay, and we can navigate around and go in there. Right. The one little thing that that we get for free in Bubble is that whenever you have a group that has an action in it, you get the little cursor there indicating that, this is clickable, right? Here we don't have that naturally kind of natively in all of the elements. In the buttons you have it, you can see that you have there, but here you're not going to have it. So this is where we can come in. This is the direct access to CSS and everything underneath it. So I'm going to go into the block list where we're actually clicking, and this thing right here, we want to add some styling to it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's cursor pointer, right? And now, the moment I hover over here, you have this, the nice indicator that this is something for us to click on. Right, so those are the kind of big key differences there between Noodle and Bubbles. That Bubble, you get all the database in there for free. Everything is kind of tightly connected. In Noodle, you have a different approach. You can add any database you want. So that flexibility comes at a cost, but it has a lot of benefits on some other sides, right? And then we looked at the repeating group. So the repeating group is this repeat there, and then you created this visual element, so it would be like a reusable group, right? and then we just attach the two, give it an ID, and we can see it, right? Right.